Elizabeth, hello again. I think today it's you doing the interview, so I will be the recipient of all your questions. So I hold myself together.
Welcome to our YouTube channel, The Rajore Clan. So thank you for coming to our channel. It's a pleasure because for me, I'm passionate about helping Kenyans, helping people around the world to get opportunities anywhere around the world. And the fact that I relocated to Germany was like so passionate that a company can relocate me all the way from Kenya to come to work to Germany. Why not share the story as well? So when you approached me telling me you needed nurses, I was like, okay, let's jump right into it because I've gotten so many questions. People want to come to Germany. Nurses want to come to Germany. They want these opportunities. There are no many jobs in our country, so we're kind of looking for different jobs around the world. But Germany, the problem is the language. Most people don't know the language. Most people want to learn the language because they realize the opportunity is there. So if you can introduce yourself, what you do, and how you can help nurses relocate to Germany for work. Over to you.
Yes, hello Elizabeth. Thank you for the invitation. I think we're in kind of reverse situations now. I'm in Nairobi, you're in Germany.
Exactly.
So what do we do? I'm Tobias. I'm one of the founders of the AG German Institute. We noticed that there's a huge gap between the people who want to learn German and want to go to Germany and the opportunities to learn the German language in Kenya. So my partner and I, together with our senior partners, decided that it's on us to start a German language institute in Kenya that on the one hand ensures the quality that you right now only get either with us or the Goethe Institute, which is the one funded by the German government here. I will also tell you a few things about the problems with the Goethe Institute. And but what we do in the Goethe Institute cannot do is to offer language courses that are job specific. So if you're a nurse, you already learn. We notice that there's a huge gap between the nursing English, nursing German. And if you're like, later we'll also offer like courses for IT professionals or hospitality workers. So you already learn the language you need in your job later. So it's much more helpful than if you just learn general German.
So if you can elaborate more on that, because that's actually the juicy part of it. People want to actually know, because when you go to the Goethe Institute, they'll just teach you the basic general German.
Yes.
So you're telling me that you're coming in helping people, nurses, to learn the specific language when it comes to their careers, which is very interesting.
Yes.
So how do you do that? Do they learn it in the school, or you have a place where they can learn that?
So we have two places where we teach people. So first thing, we think online classes don't work for language courses. It must be small groups, it must be highly educated teachers, it must be interactive sessions. We know many people in Kenya don't have the best internet connection, they might not have the best setup. So we think it must be in person. We, on the one hand, we have our own classrooms in CBD, in Nairobi. We partner with Kenyan universities. For instance, in Nairobi, we partner with Daystar University to use their rooms. But what we also do, because we know not all Kenyans, especially not all Kenyans that want to go to Germany, live in Nairobi, we partner with institutions all around Kenya. So right now, we just came from a call with an institution in Mombasa that will offer like language courses for us. Then we have a school in Kisumu, a school in Eldoret, and it's already us coming with the program, with the guideline. We support the existing teachers to ensure the necessary quality, but also to give a chance to the proximity you need, because we know not everybody can move to Nairobi, but many people find it easier might move to like a other close, bigger Kenyan city to take up our classes.
And it means you're reaching a wider range of people from wherever they are in Kenya.
Yes. So actually the scope of our project is to reach everyone in Kenya. So of course, we know we will not be able to offer like a school in every town, but really we really hope to grow, and we are already on the best way to grow now that we are starting schools and corporations all around the country to bring the German language as close to every Kenyan as we can.
So how do you subsidize that in terms of the cost? Because now, of course, learning the language is not free. So how do you help them learn the language at a convenient cost and something that they can afford? Because most of them have the experience, but they don't have the language.
Yes, and that's also one of our biggest priorities because, of course, if everybody had unlimited money, I'd just fly in teachers from Germany, let them live in five-star hotels, and everybody would love to work for us, you know. But of course, we see that constraints. So what we do, we work very closely with the German employers who later get the jobs to Kenyans. So, and those employers subsidize us that we can offer those high quality courses in those small groups to a very affordable price, much cheaper than the prices you will find at Goethe Institute or at any other like high level institution.
And do you have
So,
a plan, or how long does the course actually take for you to learn?
yes. Maybe I tell you a bit more before about like how we fund it. So that's also where right now we focus on nurses. So for every class that we start, with a commitment by a German employer to take over those students and to fund us to give German lessons to those students. So we'd never start a class if we don't have a cooperation in the background with an employer. Because most of the times what you'll find in Kenya, some agents, they tell people, yeah, learn German on yourself. And if you're there, we see that we get you something. But that's not what we do. Like from the very early stage, we look that the person later has a job contract, it's insured, and you don't take this risk by yourself. So we really want the employers to incur the risks. Yes.
Interesting.
So what was your other question?
So how long does the course take?
So this depends, as you know, German, like in Europe, we have those language levels, A1, A2, B1, B2, it goes up to C2. So, but what is important for nurses, but in general migration, are the levels A2, B1, and B2. So with A2, you already get your job interview, you enjoy your job contract, but you're still in Kenya. With B1, you're technically already able to move to Germany, but you can only work as an assistant because you cannot get your full recognition, especially as a nurse. Only when you have B2, you can be a nurse in Germany. And you know, to speak German is difficult, so we highly advise everybody to learn German up to B2. If you learn German up to B2, it's a 9-month journey. If you only learn it up to B1, you will always need to learn it up to B2 when you're in Germany, but this only takes you 6 months in Kenya. So we work with different kinds of employers. We work with a very wide range of employers. Some say, okay, send us nurses with B1, so they can learn German further as soon as they are in Germany. Others tell us, please make sure everybody already has B2, so it's easier for them to integrate, they can speak to their colleagues, and when they arrive, they only need to focus on their work, which is hard enough. You're in a new country, you need to focus on so many things, and you don't need to focus on learning the language because you already have a very good foundation, and now it's only about improving the fluency when you speak.
So what you're trying to tell me is that when people enroll and learn the language with your company, it's job ready, like they already have the job in terms of you have ready market for them to actually come to Germany to start working immediately.
Yes, but that's why so like the institution in Kenya, so people apply to the institution. So it's not like we take everybody, it's rather we really screen every applicant so that we can make sure, okay, those are people the employer can take in the end. Because we don't want anybody to go into the program learning German and then not make it to Germany. I'd rather tell people before, okay, it might be difficult, we probably don't get a job for you. You can try it later, or you do some more qualification before you apply. Yes, that's our highest priority.
So in terms of coming to Germany and that you're already in Kenya, does it mean you only help people in Kenya? Because I have Tanzanians, Ugandans, they're asking me, chance, or just Kenyans?
And honestly, we get so many messages on social media, WhatsApp, and people all over East Africa asking us whether we can bring them to Germany. So and this actually depends on the sector. Right now, we work with nurses, and to help a nurse with relocation, there are some boundaries. And there's actually a list by the WHO in which countries you're allowed to operate. And unfortunately, because there are not as many nurses in Uganda or Tanzania or Ethiopia like they are in Kenya, we're actually not allowed to operate there. So we are only allowed to operate in Kenya right now. This doesn't mean that nurses cannot learn the language on themselves, then come to Germany, apply on themselves. But as like an agency promoting people to go to Germany, we are not allowed to operate there.
And I'm a Kenyan. I live in Dubai, or maybe I live in Ghana. I live in another country.
Yes.
How will you help someone like me who is a nurse and working in Dubai and wants to relocate to Germany?
Yes. So the thing is, you will always need to learn German. The only gateway to Germany, even if you marry a German, you need to have A1. So you always need to learn the language. There's no way around to Germany, but if you know the language, it's a safe path. Other than like going to the US, where you end up on a list and you can wait forever. Going to Germany, as long as you do your homework, like you learn your language and you have your qualification, you're very safe to go. Like no nurse will be jobless in Germany. So if you're in Dubai, it's hard for you to join our in-person classes. But what we always offer people, because we don't earn any money with those language courses, they are subsidized by the employers. We offer them but at the lowest cost we can do, so that everybody has the opportunity. And so if somebody learns the language on themselves or learns the language at another school, they can always come to us and we connect them to the employer, so they get their interview, the employer supports them on their way to Germany, they look out for to support them with the flight ticket and the visa fees, and then they can just depart to Germany, yes.
So meaning if I'm a nurse and I learn the language on my own, I have B2 and I have my certificate. I just come to the institution and I give you my papers and you screen me, and then you will connect me to the employer for the employer to do the interview and see if I'm eligible to get the job, right?
Yes, but there are steps. So first you come to us and we do the screening. So first we check the documents, in the second stage there's an interview, then you can sign up for the classes. But usually the interviews are done so as soon as you've finished your A1. So we have the commitment of the German employer to give everybody in the class a contract. But what you usually have is, especially many people are dropping out with A1. And that's just because the German language doesn't fit them. It's because the program is challenging. It's 20 hours a week. So it's 5 days a week, 4 hours each day. So it's 20 hours of classes each week. And maybe you think in the beginning I can make it, but then you realize, okay, I want to take shifts. Okay, maybe I have a family I need to take care of, and it just doesn't fit into my life. So that's why as soon as we see somebody has finished their A1 and they're starting the A2, so they're really into the program, we see they have the necessary motivation, then we do the interview, yes.
So it means even if I have learned B2 on my own, even and gotten my certificate, I still have to learn the language you people again?
No. You're always very welcome to learn the language everywhere. Because in the end, to go to Germany, you need an official certificate. Yes. Whether you learned the language with us, you learned it online, you learned it in uni, you learned it, whatever you did, that's very much fine for us. We can always give you the interview. But the advantage while you learn with us is that already while you're learning, you can get the contract. And that's something many people consider an advantage, because then you don't need to go 9 months and you don't know what is going to happen. So we can actually, because what we also can do is start the visa process early, apply for the visa, send the documents to the German administration so they can check your qualification and check your papers, so that actually after 9 months you can go. Just imagine you went not to us, who we just directly work with the employers and are only a language institute, but you went to an agency, they are like, okay, you learn German, 9 months, and now we see what comes. So you're going to wait like 6 more months, 9 more months, and then the worst thing that can happen, if you don't do things like we do then, so that you start everything early, your language certificate is only valid for 6 months for the visa. So that's why it's very important that you do the things like we do them, so everything is managed properly. We start everything as early as possible, so you don't lose any time, and you don't have any issues with the validity of your certificates.
So if I don't know the language, I have German.
But if you don't know the language, you can't. You need to learn the language. The easiest way is if you marry a German, then you only need to learn till A1. But if you want to go to Germany by yourself, what I highly encourage to do everybody to do. You need to learn at least up to B1.
And you've said you have subsidized courses. So how much does the cost of learning the language for 9 months? What's the amount?
Yes, so you only pay month by month. So if you drop out anytime, there are no follow-up costs. So you're always very free. There's no registration fee. There's at no point any deduction from the salary. So it's actually, you do the contract directly with the employer. We are not involved. We don't tell you anything on this. And you pay 15,000 shilling a month. So that's month by month, only the month you're in. So even if you already know some German because you've learned it somewhere else at the high school, you can always also join the program at a later stage. Just imagine you already have A2, so you only need to join the program for 2 months because you only need to learn B1, so you only pay 2 months. So you always only pay the classes you take because they are an offer by us, you know? If you learn it somewhere else, we're very much fine with it. It's just we want to promote it and we think it's a fair and good deal.
So it means if I learn the language, I learn it for the 2 months, 3 months. So, and I pass the interview with a prospective employer.
Yes.
They pay for everything, my flight, my visa, my accommodation. So how does that go?
So I'm like, as I said, there's a very wide range of employers and we explain the nurses what it means to sign up for an employer. So most of the employers, for instance, all the employers who demand B2, they will pay for the flight and they will pay for the visa and they will pay for the Goethe test because the Goethe test is not done by us, it's done in the Goethe Institute. But there are also other employers who say, of course, we support you with this because we know like money is a big problem for Kenyans. They say, I mean, you have such a good deal in Germany, we just give you a loan and as soon you're in Germany, you can just after 6 months, you pay back your flight. So it's no risk for you because you can first you go, you earn money, and you can just pay it back later. But it's always the support is there by the employer so that you will never get stuck in Kenya because of the cost of flight, visa, or language certification.
Interesting. So you're only talking about nurses. So I've gotten questions, people want to come as assistant nurses, caregiving jobs, just healthcare sector. So is other opportunities in the healthcare sector considered other than nurses?
So there are nurses, there are operative theater assistants, there are radiologists, all those things which are very close to nursing are easy. So that's not easy. You still need to go the way, but it's straightforward for us. Then there are doctors, like medical doctors, physicians. So with them, they actually, to get a recognition in Germany, it's a way more challenging process because every doctor is very unique specialization. They need German up to C1, not only B2. So it's a very individual case at each doctor. So right now we already have doctors who apply to us, we're supporting them, we're guiding them, but it's not the focus of our program, especially because right now you don't have many unemployed doctors in Kenya, but you have many unemployed nurses in Kenya, more and more year by year. And we didn't come to get people out of occupation in Kenya, we actually came to help the people who cannot find occupation in Kenya. And so with the assistant nurses, it's a bit more difficult because on the one hand, right now they cannot get a visa. This will change next year in spring because there's a new bilateral agreement coming up between Kenya and Germany that is facilitating this, so we cannot do it right now. And also, it's harder to get placements for nursing assistants. The employers don't offer that much support because they're not that qualified. So the market comes with many complications. We're already evaluating this, but right now we don't have a program for this, but it will come in the future. Will probably just take 3, 4, 5 more months till we start.
So in the meantime, it's just concentrating on nurses who are at least have 1 year experience, right?
It's 1 year experience, but even have employers who don't require 1 year experience. So you can, as long as you're a registered nurse, so you're a registered community health nurse, or you're a registered nurse with focus on psychiatry or any other focus, like you're an ICU nurse, that's all good. It's all fine. We always appreciate this. And the 1 year is not a necessity. Yes, I know you found this on our website, but we just recently signed an agreement with a German employer who also doesn't require the 1 year experience. So right now we can also offer it to unexperienced nurses, but the eligibility is still that they're registered and they are between 21 and 42.
There's this question someone asked about the National Council licensure examination. Is it something considered for nurses? How do you recognize that this is a registered nurse in Kenya?
So in Kenya, you have a practitioning licensing number. And with this licensing number, all the nurses are aware of this process of registration, because first you do your education and then you go through the process of registration. So while you're an enrolled nurse, you cannot get the recognition in Germany. Only when you're a registered nurse, you can get the recognition. And every nurse has this license number. We can go to the nursing authority. They even have a website. You can just enter the number and they tell you, okay, that's the name, and they have a valid registration at the moment.
Meaning Alison certificate is not recognized because you have to be recognized in that particular way, the way nurses are recognized. You have to have a number, that license, not just any.
Yes, you get a number by the nursing council, and by this you're registered.
So you have to be registered with the council, not just learning it online and being a nurse.
Because I mean, as much I don't care, maybe as long as a nurse is a good nurse. The German administration requires proper documentation and good training so that people can get the recognition in Germany.
And is the National Council licensure examination in German, or it's just in Kenya?
So right now, I think, so you have a Kenyan, so how it works, so you do your education in Kenya, you get your registration. So going to Germany, there's no thing like a pre-registration exam in Kenya that you need to take. You only do your Kenyan education, then you go to Germany, and the process of recognition is done in Germany. So the German administration will assess what's the gap between your Kenyan education and your German education. If you, for instance, have a bachelor in nursing, you have some experience, you will not need any courses. But if you're just a fresh graduate, they will just ask you to take up a few courses while you're already working. So it might be you're working for 4 days instead of 5 days for a few months. You take these courses, they are organized by your employers, they are paid by your employer, and after you finish your classes, you're fully recognized nurse in Germany.
Interesting. I think I've explored most of the questions. Someone is asking, which German licensing board is there for nurses in Germany? So is there a licensing board in Germany?
No, in Germany, there's no licensing board. So Germany is a federal state, not like Kenya, which is pretty central. Every state has their own type of licensing, but they are all recognized all over the country. So if you come as a nurse to Bavaria, you're also a nurse in Berlin or in Rhineland-Palatinate. So this doesn't matter. But so we, after you sign the contract with the German hospital, we send the documents to the responsible administration in the state, and they assess the documents you have, and then they say, okay, you need to take those amount of courses when you're in Germany to get your recognition. As soon as this is done, you just get your recognition certificate in Germany, and this is valid all over the European Union. So you can also move to Austria. It's even it's even recognized in Switzerland, so you could move to Switzerland, you can start working in Luxembourg. You're very free to move wherever you like.
Nice. And what's the age limit?
The age limit is 42 years. But also with the age, of course, when you're younger, it's easier to learn a language. When you just come out of uni, it's easier to learn a language. It's easier to integrate into a new society. Same with family. So by law, you're allowed to take your family, but we always advise people that you wait a bit till you're settled in Germany, till you have saved some money, till at least you are accustomed to Germany, so that you can safely bring your family. Because if you're struggling, how will you help your family? Struggling doesn't mean like, Germany is a bad place, but it's always you move to a new place, you need to learn the new language. I mean, here in Germany, there's so many things, and you just need some time, and you have a family in Germany, you know how it is.
Crazy.
Getting children to school, kindergarten.
I want to help you with the kids.
Yes. So we rather advise people to first come on their own if they already have a family or a spouse, and then after 1 year, after everything's settled, after you have saved money, you built up your flat, all those things, then you get your family.
And how much is the salary per month?
I mean, the average salary as a nurse in Germany is 3,700 euros. Pardon?
That's gross.
Yes, that's gross. That's brutto, how we call it in Germany. But there's a very wide range because in Germany you're paid per hour. So if you do extra hours, if you work on a night shift, you get more money. If you have children, you get Kindergeld, you get extra money. Depending, when you work for a public service provider, they adjust your salary depending on your family situation. Then your salary is adjusted depending on in which city you live. So there are so many adjustments that there's actually a wide range. So people always ask us how much I make, will I make? But I think the most important thing is to think about it, how much can I afford? Because a salary in Munich might look much bigger than a salary in Berlin, but the flat in Berlin, even though it's also expensive, is not as expensive in Munich. So there are all those trade-offs you need to take into account. Same with gross and net salaries in Germany. So if you have a family, you almost pay no taxes, but if you're on your own, you're single, you might pay more taxes. So it's... You always need to look at the single case. But I think it's easier for Kenyans who are already in Germany to tell about how much you can afford and how it is different to Kenya than for me who always lived in Germany and everything is like.
Someone is asking here about nursing. A nurse who's a lecturer, can they get this opportunity or they just need people working in the hospitals?
I mean, of course you can. That's a great thing in Germany. There's so many opportunities for additional qualifications. So you can do a specialization, you can move up in the ladder of the hospital, so you can do more administrative work, less practical work. Of course, if you have higher education and you're well trained, you might also, as soon as you master the language well, can get into teaching. Germany is very flexible on this, and employers are highly encouraging their staff to take on training to ensure the quality within their staff.
Awesome. I think I'll take one last question so that you show us the PDF you had prepared. Where exactly is the school that you help people learn the language? Do you have a specific location in Nairobi? Where now?
Yes.
Tomorrow, someone is interested, where can they go?
Yes, that's what I told you in the beginning where we do our teaching. So we have those partner schools all around the country, but right now we have our own school and office room in the Ambank House. It's actually in the CBD next to the Goethe Institute. So many people will know it who live in Nairobi. And then we partner with the Daystar University in Nairobi. And we use their Nairobi campus, which is in Upper Hill, so close to all the big clinics like Kenyatta Hospital.
Interesting. Great. Thank you for answering the questions. So maybe you can now tell us more about the German Institute.
The German Institute?
Yeah, your website now.
Oh, you want me to present the website? Sure. Let me open it and then I will share my screen. Okay. Okay. Okay, can you see the website?
Yes.
Okay, I think the website just gives a comprehensive overview about what we talked about already. So everybody's very welcome to go on our website. It's just germaninstitute.co.ke. And here you find our contact information, the apply page. I will tell you something about this later. So it's just all the information. So you get the information about why to choose Germany. So what are the advantages? You have paid holidays, you can get your citizenship after some years, you have the Weihnachtsgeld, so as a nurse you get one additional salary, you have the job security, employment is very much secured. What we offer, what we require, what's the price for 15,000 shilling, what we already spoke about. And then we have the timeline. So first the A1, so you get familiar with learning German, then the A2, so you get your job contract in Germany, then the B1. So what does B1? Now we can work on your visa, so your documents are already sent into Germany, you already got your job contract, the embassy is working on your visa, you're completing the B2, you get your exam, and then you're already, latest after 9 months, maybe already earlier, you can fly to Germany. This also depends on the pace of the class. If everybody is fast and the students finish their language course after 8 months, they can already go to Germany after 8 months.
And yes. I'm getting a question that, can they teach online? Is it a must for them to actually go physically, or do you offer online classes?
No, we only do physical classes. And the reason is not that we don't like to support everybody and do online classes, but the thing is, the issue is quality. And we think, especially if you want to learn German in such a short amount of time, we need to do physical classes, we need to do small groups, we need to have the best teachers, so that everybody who joins the group, who joins the class, makes it to B2 in the time we have planned, so maximum 9 months. Yes. So, but as I said, so yeah, we're in Nairobi right now, but we're actually working on rolling it out to Kisumu, Eldoret, Mombasa, and many more cities are about to follow within the next year. So what is very important, many nurses ask us questions about this, is support upon arrival. So you'll be picked up at the airport from your future employer. They No Kenyan will be sent alone to a hospital. It's always groups of Kenyan that are sent to one employer. So you already have somebody you're very familiar with out of your home country to speak to. Accommodation is also very important. All the employers either provide their own housing, or they support the nurses on finding housing, or they just provide them housing where they can move in for an affordable price. So you don't need to worry that you arrive and you have no way to go. We always require the employers who want to collaborate with us that they support the nurses at least 6 months with the housing. But this is also something that might differ. Some employers might even do it for 1 year. 6 months is just our minimum threshold the employers need to offer.
For accommodation?
Yes, that's the accommodation here.
Nice. That's a long time. That you already have settled within 3 months. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, 6 months is a good time. You can find a flat that fits you. If you want to get your family after some time, you can find a bigger flat that suits your family. You get enough time, and you won't be stressed or won't struggle, because also you need to get into work and all the things within the first few months.
That's a huge advantage. For me, I was only offered a month.
Yeah, you see, we really require a lot from the employers that we allow them to work together with us. So we are very picky. So we only work with big companies who have already integrated thousands or hundreds of people from all over the world into the institutions. So we don't work with any clinic or who has never brought people from abroad. And all the clinics we work together with, they have brought in people from India, they have brought in people from the Philippines, they have brought in people maybe even from South Africa, so they're very much ready to integrate people who are just not German and might come from far away. Yes. So here is just the program details. It's just exactly the same as we spoke about. So what is it about? So the job opportunity, the language proficiency up to B2, the recognition of the credentials in Kenya, so that there's a process of recognition that we already spoke about. Yes, so facilitating family travel. Yes, you can take your family, but as I told you already, and as we tell everybody in the personal consultation we do with them before they join the program, Germany is a great place to raise a family. You have the kindergarten, you have free universities, free high schools. There's so much support, but still, we always think it's best if one of the family members has to arrive first and set the necessary foundations for the family to live a happy life in Germany. Yes. And then there's already the last page. And we know, like many Kenyans thinking about many destinations. Do I go to Germany? Do I go to the US? Do I go to Canada? Do I go to the UK? And if you're somebody who thinks, I want to live in America, I want to go to US or to Canada, we won't convince you. It's a very personal decision. You will need to familiarize yourself online. You'll see the advantages. But we think going to Germany has many advantages. Not only that it's the safest option for Kenyans right now, because you don't get on a list, you don't need to wait. There's like guaranteed employment. You can go as long as you learn the language. But also, it's very safe. It's walkable, there's great public transportation, it's a very multicultural place, as you know. But I mean, you probably have so many videos about how it is to live in Germany as a Kenyan already on your channel, so I don't need to speak too much about this. But
you're a German, so they will be convinced more when you tell them. You're like, you've just been there for a year, what are you telling us,
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like US and Canada are very different. You don't get so much support. And what we always think, you go to a new country and your family is not there. Your social network is not there. In Kenya, you have your family, you have your grandparents, your uncles. If anything happens, you're not on your own. If anything happens in the US or in Canada, there's no support. You might end up homeless. You will be extradited. Who knows? But in Germany, there's very comprehensive social security. There's so much. I always feel like Germany, especially if you're like a middle-class person, it's an amazing place to be. If you're rich, like it's horrible because taxes are very high. But like as a middle-class person, there's so much stuff provided for you, for your family, social security, education. One of the best healthcare systems in the world, and it's completely free. You have your insurance and covers everything, all the costs you might have. So it has just many advantages to live a life in Germany.
There's a question.
Yes, you have a question?
Yes. How long is the visa?
The visa. So you get at least, so all employers are also asked to provide at least a 3-year contract. But the thing is, as a nurse, as long as you do your recognition, you learn the language, you will never be jobless in Germany. All the hospitals right now are looking for staff. I mean, why did the hospital send us to like Kenya? It's so far away, because we really appreciate well-trained nurses who want to work in Germany. This is also an advantage if you move to Germany with us and after 3 years you feel like, okay, I don't like Berlin, I rather want to live in Frankfurt. You have a job in 1 week. It's not like Kenya, you need to wait and something can happen and you don't know what is going to come, It's just like the labor market in itself is different. So very low unemployment rate, and especially for those like highly qualified workers as nurses are, it's very easy to find jobs right now. Yes. And then, yes, you have a question?
How frequent do you kind of get people, because now you kind of said you have small groups of teaching the German language.
Yes.
How big is your class? Like if you get maybe 100 applications, how do you subdivide them for them to have this concentrated and to learn the language in depth as few people as compared online where there's so many people?
Yes, you're completely right. So with every few weeks, we do intake. So the next intake right now will be on December 4th.
Okay.
We will start with 2 classes on December 4th at the same time. So there will be a morning class and an evening class starting at the same time. And those classes are actually synchronized. That's something we like to do because, of course, we know everybody has to also manage their life, so people can always day by day decide whether they come to the morning or to the evening class.
Oh, they also have evening classes.
Pardon?
They also have evening classes.
Yes, we have evening classes because we know many people might need to work, they need to take care of anything else. So we have always 3 slots of classes. So they are the They're the morning classes from 8 to 12. They're the afternoon classes from 12 to 4. And then there are the evening classes from 4:30 to 8:30. Yes. And always at an intake, we might have an intake at CBD, we might have an intake at Daystar, we will have intakes at our other schools. There's always intake for some slots. Right now, 4th of December will be 2 different kind of slots, so morning slots and evening slots. But there will be also intakes in January, February, so there's a constant intake to onboard more people to the program. But sure, as you say, we cannot accommodate 10,000 nurses now. There will be 2 classes starting in December. We already have people on the list. It's in a way like we try to pick the people who suit best, who have the best chances, and we really try to pick the people where we think we can be sure that they can succeed and they have the right motivation to go.
Nice, interesting.
Yes.
I don't see any other question, but people just want online classes, but unfortunately that's not possible. They keep telling me online.
Yeah, I always get this question, but you see, I think you understand, it's just so much harder to learn the language online, especially if you have such a short time frame. We think it's almost impossible to learn German online under those conditions in like 9 months. But there's a last thing I want to show you. It's the apply page.
Yep.
So people will ask, how can I apply? They just go on the website, they click the apply now button. There's also an apply now button on the mobile version. It's just in the bottom on the right. And there you have 2 options. I always recommend just to take the Google Forms. You can just click on here. I just show it right now. Oh, I think you still see the old website. I need to change it. 1 second, because I was sharing the website. Yes, let me show it. And then you get to our Google Forms. Yes. And this just asks you about your details. You leave your name, your phone number, so we can reach you, your age, so we can see whether you're qualified. Same, what's your qualification background. Here, we encourage you to give us your license number so we can check it already online with the licensing board in Kenya. You tell us where you live so we can see, okay, if we have intake in Nairobi, we can let you know. When we have an intake in Eldoret, we can let you know. So we get the opportunity to manage it, because does it help you if you live in Kisumu and I call you because of a Mombasa intake? That would be not very helpful. If you already know German, please tell us so we can tell you when to join the classes at the right time. You can tell us, okay, when are you ready? Like only in a month, right now, as soon as possible, or you need some more time. And then in class, highly recommended. That's what we're doing right now. If you feel you can only do online, you can register for online. But as I said, there's only in-class intake at the moment. That's why we say highly recommend. Yes. You can tell us your preferences about the time, your preferences about the days, and then you just submit the form. And this, especially your phone number and your name, allows our team to reach out to you. And they will call you, they will answer your questions, and then they will work on onboarding you in the program if you fit.
And you haven't talked about the health insurance. Do they also get health insurance when they kind of now get to relocate to Germany?
You mean in Germany or
Germany
on the way?
Is for the travel insurance, because of course in Germany.
The travel insurance, to be honest, it's very it costs like 15 euros for the flight. It's just something. Of course, it's provided when the employers book for flight tickets. There will be health insurance on the trip. But of course, as long as you're just taking courses, we don't provide health insurance. It's just like you go to a school. If you go to uni in Kenya, you also pay for your own health insurance. I think that's nothing special. But as soon as you're in Germany, you have your job contract, you have the ordinary comprehensive German insurance, and you get all the medical services that you need.
In short, you will help them do all these documentations.
Yes. But it's not only us helping. That's why we signed the contract so early, but really the employers can step in,
Of course.
support the nurses. Because in the end, the nurse is working with the employer. We are the provider for the language, but we want the nurse to find the best employer and work together with the employer. So we give the guidelines, we support the employer, we support the nurse, but in the end, it's not us and the nurse, it's the employer and the nurse, and that's what I think is also important.
Great. Thank you. I think I've exhausted most of the questions, and you've gone through the website and how to apply and what to do. So I guess
Yes.
if anything comes up, I'll pin you, but for now, I guess you've answered most of the questions and what you wanted to talk about. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's already at almost an hour.
Yes.
I also say thank you. It's very long. I think it will be a bit tiresome to watch.
Yeah.
But yes, it's also thank you for your questions. Always helpful to get feedback, also for our communication. And yes, I'm very eager to speak with you again and looking forward.
Awesome. And I'll end the video here. So thank you guys for watching. So go to the link. The link is provided on the description below. Contact them if you need more information. It's on the website. And nurses, I got you. I told you I'll be here with your videos. So the video is here. Tobias has been very helpful, has answered most of the questions. So nurses, it's all up to you now to now apply if you want to relocate to Germany. And we've known you cannot relocate to Germany without the language. So thank you so much for watching. Until next time, thank you so much. Bye.
Okay. Thank you too. Goodbye.
Goodbye.